But yeah, for anyone who do not know who I am, I'm Alfyn, your local realtor here in Reno and Sparks. And then I'll let Jeremiah introduce himself and go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Jeremiah. I'm a loan officer with Guild Mortgage and also Reno Sparks in California.
Love. See how, okay, quick note. I love your background. Do you want to see like mine?
Yeah, it's the same. Mine is.
Like I'm in the bathroom.
I mean, if you need, just wash your hands.
Right.
Mine's a fake back.
But like, look at us twinning.
Yeah, the same.
We're same.
Oh my god.
But we're on here today because we like to give like a weekly market update and what we're kind of seeing right now, at least within the past like week, how our buyers feeling, how our homes moving. So Jeremiah, so as of right now, how are rates? How are rates looking? Are people still buying down rates, or you know, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
No, people are still definitely like looking at rate buy downs, right? But it's always that's kind of always a thing, right? Everyone always wants to see what the lowest rates are, and it depends on if that makes sense or not, right? But rates are sitting around like the mid or to higher sixes, right under 7%, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9. But as of the last 2 days, rates have gotten better than they have been overall. So that's
Oh,
positive.
good.
But it is jumping around quite a bit. So, we'll see kind of where it lands.
You never know, because I get questions like that. I'm like, let's check it because every day is different. Sometimes it's low six, sometimes it's the mid six, and
Mhm.
then that very rare went down like a little below
A high
six, and that
five.
was good, right?
Yeah, that was
So we just never know. And then you mentioned about rate buy down. So you're seeing a lot of sellers still giving credits, right?
Yeah, I would say the homes that have been sitting for a minute, right, are still incentivized to give some sort of credits. But I don't think that, is universal, right? It depends on your price point, it depends on the home you're looking at specifically, like, because a seller is just a buyer now as a seller, right? So they have money that they
Mm-hmm.
need to make on the sale of the purchase, just like you guys have a budget that you're coming in to buy it, right? So, like, everyone's numbers have to pencil out. But when we look at the market and what that means, people are locking in rates under 6% still, with around a 1, 2, 3% buy down. And it all depends, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't shy away just because you're nervous about the interest rate.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So, I posted one time like on TikTok and I got someone to comment and I was talking about, of course, buy now. And then this person was like, well, you guys always say that. The rates are so high. I mean, it's all about perspective, right? What do you think?
Mhm. It is, yeah. I mean, if you compare the rates now to the rates in 2023 or 2024 or even 2025, right? Rates are simply just they're better than they have been for the last 3 years. So that's good, right? Like people are like, well, I don't really know if I should wait or not, and it's like gonna see what's gonna happen in 2 more months. It's like who knows, right? But if you just look at 2023, rates were like 8% almost. And then in 2024, they
Yeah.
were like high sevens. In 2025, they were like seven, So like this year,
So
they're
that's what
like
I'm,
6.5. Not bad.
and we're still high. I'm like, well, honestly, we're lower than last year. So if you
Mhm.
compare last year to this year, we're doing better.
We are, yeah. So I always ask the question, like, well, what do you want the rate to be? And a lot of people don't know, right? They don't have a number in mind. And when we look at that, we just have to figure out what payment your goal is, because that's the biggest thing. People think low rates, low payments, high rates, high payments. And that is true to some degree, but you can always run those numbers and see where your sweet spot is.
Absolutely. And so I replied to this comment and I was like, well, you're right. And the rates are can seem pretty high. However, the price is not going to change. The price is the price. So if we keep continue to wait, if prices go up, the rates, like you're just guessing if it's going to drop or not. The thing is just like you said, be comfortable with what your monthly payment is, and if it does drop, perfect, then go refinance, right? So they're
Exactly.
like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. So I feel like a lot of people do just need a little bit of education and perspective, because you're right. Yeah, in your thoughts, rates are high and up there, but what I love about what we do, Jeremiah, is that we get to educate, we get to show our perspective and show data, not just like how we think and feel, but as to what the trajectory is looking at in the next year to 5 years from now, and how can we help this family or this person move forward with the biggest investment of their lives. So I love that people do, comment that way, and feel free to comment. I would love to answer those questions, because as more and more as I post like on TikTok, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's crazy. You're never going to buy in Reno." I mean, well, what are you looking at, right? Are you looking at like your
Mhm.
dream home or a Toll Brothers home or $1 million home? Well, start where you can,
Yeah, it's true.
right?
You don't want to get
So
too crazy.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna feel that way. It's gonna feel really discouraging. If this is okay, this is the home I want. It's a Toll Brothers. It's 800,000. I mean, are you there yet? Right? If
Mhm.
not, then well, there's townhomes, there are condos, manufactured homes, and there's no problem with that, because we can help you get to that Toll Brothers or a Lennar, whatever it is, in the next 5 to 10 years. But how are
Mhm.
we going to get there if you don't start?
You have to start.
You just have to start, because you know if I look at even just my own personal experience, my family, we had to start somewhere, right? And now we're
Mhm.
fortunate enough to be able to use the homes as Airbnbs. So, but at that point, we were where everyone was, is figuring out where to start, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, and if you've been on the fence, just reach out to Jeremiah, reach out to me, and we'll be able to direct you and see what can we do now. What can we do now to just get you in front of the door, and then we create a plan. Okay, you want to keep growing? All right. 3 years from now, let's look at your equity. We can use that to upgrade, right?
it's true. Yeah. I mean, it's very true because if you don't ever own a house, you can never build anything, right? So I think people, if you think of it like if you always rent, you just don't get it back. But if you own literally anything, then you're getting something back, right? So if you
Hmm.
don't ever begin the process, then you can never just upgrade and sell and use the money you would make on that property again, right? And I think a lot of people don't think about it like that because we have like a new kind of demographic, right, coming into the market, younger first time buyers. And then we have, the baby boomers that have kind of aged into their retirement homes and that kind of thing, right? So we have this huge difference of people buying and selling and staying and not moving. And I share that because a lot of younger people from just the recent studies that have come out are trying to buy their like forever homes as their first house, right? Like
That's hard,
they
yeah.
they want like the nicest of nice in the first home, right? And so your first house, just like your first job, is not going to be like the most glamorous most of the time, right? Because it's used as a tool. It's not going to be like your forever residence, right? Like this is going to be a temporary thing that you'll probably sell in a couple years, make some money, and then go buy something that you like then at that point, right? So I think we get a little bit caught up on those kinds of things.
I love when you said use it as a tool. And that's exactly what you should do, right? Because here's
Yeah.
what I've noticed also. I've noticed let's say managers whatnot making really good money, right? And however, if you look at their living situation, they're still at an apartment, let's just say. But you have this operator, let's say an operator in a nice bigger home, and only because they started somewhere at one point to where they were
Mhm.
able to build and upgrade over time, to whereas that manager stayed at an apartment because they were too scared to jump years ago, you know?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
either start now, build, grow, upgrade, or you're always going to be where you're at. And then it's going to be kind of harder to kind of build later on. You know what I mean? Because I feel like as
Hmm.
you make more, you also spend more. But it's
Yes.
like, where are you going to put that money? Right? You're still
Yeah.
having to pay rent.
Yeah.
So it's either you make use of that, or stay where you're at.
Or you don't. Yeah, think of it like
Or
this.
you
I have
don't, you know?
um, a great story because this client of mine bought a house with down payment assistance 3 years ago, right? About two and a half, almost three.
Mm-hmm.
And they took about $8,000 for the down payment assistance from the state of Nevada, right through the Home is
Mm-hmm.
Possible program. And they took the rate at the time was like 7.5 or 7.25 or something like that. And they're
Mm-hmm.
refinancing now into a rate at like 5.875 or 5.99, right? So they're dropping it like over 1%. They're paying
Wow.
off the down payment assistance amount that they took, right? And they don't have that lien anymore because it's going to be financed into their
That's
new
awesome.
mortgage, right? And they're saving
Mhm.
almost $300 a month. So it's like people that are afraid to like get in, they bought at a higher rate. They bought
Mhm.
at a market, that was theoretically like the highest it's ever been, right? But literally now their home 2.5, almost 3 years later has appraised for almost 30,000 more than they paid for it,
Wow.
right? Like 23,000 or 24,000 something, right? And then they get to pay off
Yeah.
their assistants and come in with no money out of pocket.
There you go. I love that.
Right? So if you're afraid,
That's a
you
good
know,
story.
I wouldn't be because there's so many things that will happen, usually for the positive.
Exactly. You're still having to pay. So why not put it somewhere that could
Yeah,
build?
exactly.
And I love
Exactly.
those stories where they refi and they're saving like $300 to $500
Yeah.
more. But whereas if you're renting in an apartment, and I've seen this with, multiple people, year later it goes up another $50,
Mhm.
$100. It's crazy how much they can just increase on you. But your home payment is your home payment, is going to stay there, and then if you refi, good for you.
Well, it's true. Yeah. The
You save more
average
money.
rental increase is 6% annually. So if your
Isn't
rent
that
is going to
crazy?
go up 6% every year, that seems crazy to me to not
Yes.
try and
So
own something.
absolutely. So that's why I love coming on here and like kind of just showing and telling like experiences and stories, because it could possibly help the next viewer that's watching us, right? And it's all about perspective. Like the comment on my TikTok, like saying, "Nope, rates are high." Well, have you seen it in this way?
Yeah,
So
that's
that's what
true.
we're going to continue to do. I love it. And I know if you guys have any questions, if you're watching now or later, drop in the comments. We'll be happy to answer. And
Mhm.
me and Jeremiah is on TikTok,
We're on the
Instagram, and
TikTok.
Facebook. So feel free to, send us a message. We'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, let us know, follow us, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Well, bye.
Bye. See you.